welcome back to Yak Brewing Company. I'm super duper excited to take you on a virtual tour once again and show you how we bring our beers to life. In the first part, we showed you how we use the ingredients that are malt, hops, yeast and water. And today we're going to take you in the brewing process and show you how we use these ingredients and create the final product. So let's deep dive into the 7-step brewing process that is used to create our Barahsinghe craft beers. The barley malt that we import are stored in our silo, and the first step is milling. This is where the barley malts are crushed into fine particles. It is an important step as it sets a foundation for the rest of the brewing process. At this point, the mill squeezes out the inside of the malts, grinds the endosperm inside of it, which contains starch and protein. This process needs to be adjusted carefully to find a balance between a crushed malt that is too fine and one that is too coarse. Now on to the second step, mashing. You can see right behind me we have the mash tun vessel where we mix the malt with hot water. We make sure that the brewing water is pure and suits the particular beer style that we're making. During mashing, the crushed malt releases enzymes which converts the malt starches into sugar. Both time and temperature plays a very vital role in extracting the right amount of sugars. This sugar is crucial for the fermentation process where it is consumed by yeast, turning it into alcohol and carbon dioxide. We are now on the third step of the brewing process, laddering. So after the mashing is done, the sugary liquid, also known as wort, is kept in the lauter tun. So this is where we separate the solid and the liquid parts. Think of this step as our major filter, where the liquid is drained to a false bottom in the base of the lauter tun. In the final step of the laddering process, the grains are spurged with hot water in 76 degrees Celsius inside the lauter tun. The process results to rising of the mashed grain, allowing us to extract the maximum amount of sugar as possible. The solid part that is not filtered is then moved to a spent grain silo and collected for use as animal feed. So moving on, we're now in the fourth step, which is wort boiling. So after the wort is obtained from the lautering process, it is then kept in this holding tank and then transferred to this kettle for boiling. So the wort boiling process serves two major purposes, which is sterilization and hop infusion. The wort boiling is done for at least an average of an hour, which kills unwanted bacteria and also stops the conversion of starch to sugar. Since a lot of heat is generated during wort boiling, we reuse the heat by recirculating it to be used during the mashing process through Krohn's ectotherm technology, leading to a higher efficiency with 30% lower energy usage. Right at the step is also where the hops are added to add desired bitterness, flavor and aroma to beer. The timing of when hops are added can have a big impact on the final taste. So to add bitterness, we add hops in the beginning of the boiling process. So we add hops later in the brewing process to impart hop flavors and aromas. So after boiling the wort, we transfer it to the whirlpool. Here the wort is spun like a whirlpool at a speed of 15 feet per second. So this separates the hop pellets and drop from the wort. The clear wort is then moved to the wort cooler where it is cooled from around 8 to 14 degrees Celsius.
We're using a vapor absorption machine which utilizes heat recovery for better efficiency, usually steam recovered from the boiler, to drive its refrigeration cycle. We use biomass such as rice husks sourced from surrounding rice mills to power our boiler instead of burning fossil fuels.
At this cooling step, we add yeast to wort to start fermentation and produce beer. This process is also called yeast pitching. So step 6 is fermentation, and here you can see the uni tanks which combine the features of fermentation and maturation tanks. We add yeast to start the fermentation process. This is where the magic happens. And the yeast feeds on the sugar from the wort and produces alcohol and carbon dioxide. The yeast also produces esters and phenols, which contribute to the flavor and aroma of our beer. So this primary process of fermentation usually takes 10 days, And we can officially call Worth beer after this. We also dry hop our beer by adding noble hops during the fermentation process, also known as dry hopping, which we use in our Barahsinghe Pilsner, Barahsinghe Pale Ale, Barahsinghe Hazy IPA, and Barahsinghe Yaktoberfest. After fermentation, we leave the beer to mature for additional 3 to 4 weeks, which develops better taste and flavors. On the top, you can see a yellow gas balloon, which is our carbon dioxide recovery system. Carbon dioxide is essential in beer during bottling to give it a crisp feel, and since it is also a byproduct of yeast activity, we use carbon dioxide recovery plant to collect the carbon dioxide that is generated during fermentation and reuse it in the bottling process. This allows us to stay in check with our sustainable goals by enabling us to reduce our carbon footprint. So by using this, we reduce our carbon dioxide emissions by 65% in the atmosphere. So we are now on the 7th step, which is filtering. As you can see, this is the hop strainer where the residue of the hops from dry hop beer are removed. Next, our beer is transferred through beer membrane filtration, where the remaining yeast and undesired sediments are removed, giving our beer a clear appearance. For some beers like Barahsinghe Dunkelweizen and Barahsinghe Hazy IPA, we partially filter the beer, giving it a very cloudy and hazy appearance. We use beer membrane filter to filter our beer instead of kieselguhr, resulting in our solid waste stream being reduced by 50% at a significantly low level of energy consumption. Once the beer has been filtered, it is then kept in 0 degrees Celsius in bright beer tank. Here, the fermented and filtered beer is stored and is the stage present right before the bottling process. This shows that the beer is of the highest quality and is ready for bottling, canning, and kegging for distribution. So that is it. The second part of our Barahsinghe Brewery virtual tour is also over. In the next part, we'll be taking you on a tour of how we do the bottling line.